So Run has just been there for years and years and years, and I've never really wanted to nudge Taylor about it because it's, you know, it's her song and her thing. But I've always been secretly hoping that one day she'd be like, hey, this one was cool.
10 weeks of Bad Habits. I mean, how has it been for you seeing the reaction to it? Because it's just not moved from that top spot.
So when it came out, Olivia Rodrigo's Good For You was like huge and like streaming 4 times the amount of the number 2 song. So I kind of saw that and was like, okay, I need to like get over the fact that there's new blood now and like I'm kind of coming in 10 years in and blah blah blah. So I was releasing the song and sort of making peace that it would just sort of do its thing.
It was all you were saying to me. I remember we were at the pub and you kept saying, I was like, Bad Habits is gonna be big, is it like big song? And then you're like,
but I never want to
Rodrigo.
take that stuff for granted. And each week I've just expected someone else to release something that would knock it off. And I don't know. I'm taking every week as it comes, and I'm really, really, really happy with the result of it. But I don't want to be like people think that I did expect it when I didn't, because I genuinely did not expect it.
I know you didn't expect it. I know you didn't, but it has done very well. You are now officially the person with the most number 1s ever on the official Big Top 40.
This is good.
That is
Pretty
massive.
cool.
And you've got a new single, mate.
Yep.
Shivers. Now, talk to me about Shivers.
So this was actually meant to be the first single. This was originally what was going to come out. And then we sort of switched them because Bad Habits was written, and I felt like Bad Habits does not exist in a place that isn't summer. I feel like if you release, So this was originally meant to be the first single. I wrote it back in like 2019, September. Basically, I made the album in lots of rented houses around Suffolk. So I'd rent a house, we'd set up a studio for a week, write a load of songs, and then move out of the house and then rent another one. And
why do you do that?
I just find this sounds so hippie, but I find there's vibes in places. Like, I find it with instruments. If I get given a new instrument or buy a new instrument, there's like at least 5 songs in each instrument. So I'll sit with an instrument until the songs have fallen out of it, and then I'll kind of move on to the next one. And it's kind of like that with... I can't write in studios. I find studios quite cold, and there's no like... I find a lot of the studios in London are like old bingo halls. Like, they're never really like... I know that sounds weird.
In the back of Ed's song, someone going, hey,
No. I don't know. I know that sounds weird, but I just like when you set up in a house. There's just an energy in a house that stuff comes out. So we rented this farm outside of Halesworth, and which is in Suffolk. You guys will probably not go to Halesworth, but it is beautiful. And wrote a bunch of songs. This happened to be one of them. And then it just kind of sat there for ages. There's been like 17 different versions of this song. We've tried different productions, and there was a garage version at one point. And then it is out now, I guess. And I feel great about it. I think this was the one that I was more sure of than Bad Habits, so I hope that I'm right. I hope it's not.
Well, you're never kind of sure with you. You're always very low key when you release this. I remember with Shape of You, you were like, I wasn't too.
No, again,
sure
it took me by
it.
surprise. But then I was really sure on Castle on the Hill, and it just didn't really, Shape of You.
It was
just
still
took...
a very big song.
No, but like I was like So the label wanted to put out Shape of You, and I wanted to put out Castle on the Hill, and I said, well, let's do both and see what happens, knowing I was like
a battle.
I was like, Castle on the Hill will like completely eclipse Shape of You, and it just was the other way around.
And what about, have you sorted the music video yet for Shivers?
I always say at the beginning of the album campaign, I'm like, let's shoot videos. We've got all the time in the world. And everyone goes, no, we'll get round to it. And then never does. And then as soon we're doing promo like this, and then I'd be going off to
quickly
shoot.
film.
Yeah. So I actually did all the videos up front this time. So I shot the video in Los Angeles about 2 months ago. And it's good. It's with a wonderful actress called Anna Sophia Robb, and Dave Myers, who did Bad Habits, did the video, and it's really weird. There's not really like a storyline to it. It's just lots of weird. It's basically like different ways to fall in love metaphorically, but it's just odd.
Are you in more costumes and being characters?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We're
So
in.
like there's like a scene with me with a bunch of parrots that are pooing on me, and then I rip off my suit, and then I'm a tango dancer, and then I'm like, there's like a West Side Story bit, and then I'm a knight in shining armor.
Sounds like a fever dream.
Yeah, it's really odd.
Yeah.
There's also a bit where I'm just like, she's a train, and I'm like, her face is a train, and I'm hanging onto the train. It's really
hard
odd.
to imagine it. I'm not going to lie.
This sounds like my dad's stories from the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit off topic here, but you've got your own record label, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I saw the other day on Instagram you posted about Maisie Peters.
Yeah.
That you've signed her to your record label. Is there anyone else out there now that you're thinking, like, I'd love to put them on my label? Or is that just something that you were just like...
The way that major record labels work is they sign like 30 acts and one of them works, and they'll put like equal amount of time into all of them, and then one of them works. But then you've kind of got an elephant graveyard of like broken dreams, and I don't ever want to be. So for me, I'm like, I want a record label, but I'm not doing it to make money. I don't. This isn't a and this is probably the worst thing to say. Well, my record label's listening, but it's not a business for me. It's to do stuff that in 20 years I can look back historically and be like, oh, I really enjoyed making that album with so-and-so, and we put our time into that. So for me, Maisie is I did the albums with Jamie, and I've done albums with Foy, and Maisie is now the focus. And when Maisie's like off on tour, I will then look for someone else to sign. But I don't want to have too many plates spinning at once, because I just think it's unfair, and I'd not want anyone to kind of fall by the wayside, you know.
It's pretty cool, though, isn't it?
Oh, especially if you're Maisie. Great. I have all the attention. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, but she's great. The shame about releasing now as a new artist is she's been doing these shows and doing signings and stuff like that, but this is the first time she's been able to do it in 18 months, and it's for new artists, it's such a thing to go and do shows and show people. So I'm so happy it's opened up a bit now. We'll get to Europe. She's smashing festivals. I saw her play a gig on Friday, it's just nice seeing people connect to the songs that you've sort of been listening to for the last 3-4 years.
Oh, it's amazing. And talking of songs, in your songs, obviously your upcoming album Equals is on the way. And with this mathematical theme, is this the end? Is this the last one?
No. So this was always meant to be the last one. In my head, it made more sense to end with Equals. But when I was making what will be the next album, all the songs started being a bit too Shivers and Bad Habits and blah, blah, and it just didn't fit my quota for the record. So I just switched the two around. And also, I think if you coming back with like a bigger record rather than a lower lo-fi record, I think I needed to make a splash first, and then I can do something else. No, because this is what I want. But you know, there's been in the last 2 years, there's been a lot of kind of like lo-fi records that have come out, and I don't want to follow a trend.
You had your time off, and then you get back into it, and then you're just full workload.
Yeah.
And my word, have you been busy? Because
I don't think I've ever worked this. Like, even on the last records, I'm signing 37,000 album covers, and I'm kind of like making my way through it. And also I'm doing singles as well. So I've just done 15,000 Shivers, and it's just constant. In all the breaks, I'm just...
Because you're signing.
Yeah, man, it's like...
You're busy, man.
Well, do you know what the problem is? I didn't read the email. So I just got an email. I was like, do you want to do some signed albums? I was just like, yeah. And then these boxes turned up at my house. And then to save face, I'm not going to be like, oh, I need to send some back. So I'm just...
You thought it said 370?
No, I thought it would be, when I did Divide, I signed 1,000 albums, and did Multiply, signed 1,000 albums. So I just assumed it'd be 1,000 albums, and 37,000 turned up.
Well, look, it's not just your own music that you could be signing as well, but I mean, this Taylor Swift thing is massive. Everyone's talking about it. You've been re-recording Taylor Swift's version of Everything Has Changed. Now,
there's also a brand new, well, it's not brand new, it's the first song we wrote, but that's on there as well, called Run. Yeah. And I remember when we wrote Run, and then we wrote Everything Has Changed maybe like a week later. And I remember always thinking, well, Run's the one that's going to make the album. Run was always like my favourite one, but Everything Has Changed has ended up sounding better because I think we produced them differently or whatever. So Everything Has Changed had made the album. So Run has just been there for years and years and years. And I've never really wanted to nudge Taylor about it because it's, you know, it's her song and her thing. But I've always been secretly hoping that one day she'd be like, hey, this one was cool. And so, yeah, we recorded that, and it's great. It's really great. And I'm so happy it's seeing the light of day.